So I haven't been on for a bit because I have an eye infection. So it kind of isn't looking as red because I finally got the medication, but for the last 5 days, it's just been a really, really angry eyeball. And so I've only done videos like kind of not showing my face for a few days. But I wanted to touch on Jay Embry's latest video where he's showing Maddie's bedroom because he actually has the layout incorrect on her bedroom. So let's take a look. So he has her bed over where the closet is. When you walk in the door, her bed was actually to the left. It was on the side of the room that the door was on, and then you can see the window side had her desk and her closet. So there wasn't room to get on both sides of the bed. There was only room to be on one side of the bed or at the foot of the bed. And then from what Kaylee's parents said is that she was wedged against the wall and Maddie. So Kaylee would have been, if you're looking at the bed from walking in the door, Kaylee would have been on the left side of the bed and Maddie would have been on the right side of the bed.
They are asserting this was a silent attack. The roommate directly below them did not hear anything.
No one's asserting that it was a silent attack. In fact, the probable cause affidavit even states that noises were heard by Dylan. I mean, she looked out her room 3 times, and the neighbor's security camera picked up sounds. What it's saying is that there were no noises that sounded like anybody in that moment was being murdered. And as we've talked about before, hindsight's always 20/20. Now you can look back and go, oh, well, maybe the sound of what she thought was them playing with the dog was the attack happening, or Xana crying, etc. But at the time, that's not something that you would think, oh, people are being killed. But nobody has said it was a silent attack. Nobody. So I'm not sure why that still perpetuates that there was no sounds, because we know there was. Let's go on to the next thing.
I believe, based on that, the victim had possession of the K-bar knife prior to the assailants entering the room. I believe she slept with it under her pillow as protection.
Well, if it were Maddie's knife, they wouldn't have done all those search warrants. They did search warrants right away looking for, well, I shouldn't say right away. They waited until after the autopsy report came back to confirm that it had been done with that type of knife. And then they sent out search warrants looking to see who purchased that type of knife. Had Maddie owned one or kept one in the house, they would have known that, and they never would have sent out those search warrants, nor would they have sent out additional warrants to see if Koberger had purchased one after he came on their radar. So no, that knife did not belong to anybody in the house. Let's continue.
We know that the blood from the atrocity would have engulfed that knife sheath, and them pulling a single source of DNA from the button snap would be impossible.
No, it's not impossible, and in fact, they do it daily at labs. When you have crime scenes that have a mixture of DNA found from victims and suspects, they can isolate single source profiles. Now, what made it easier in this case was the single source of male DNA was from skin cells, and the victim's DNA was from blood. So they were able to isolate Koberger's a lot easier than if it was all around a blood mixture. But his was skin cells, so those would stick out compared to blood, because completely different types of samples to get the DNA from. But yeah, this is something that has been done for years. They've been able to isolate the samples and get a single source from a mixture. As always, if there's anything you'd like me to discuss, let me know.